good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Thursdays 13. We've got a list of, I guess, cities, elections that got totally trashed. Republicans got totally trashed in. I don't know. I like using the phrase totally trashed. They got totally trashed in. We'll have a list of that from Roger here. And also we'll have some general news today. This is the first and only international game show for coffee, a father and daughter podcast where we look at our stories. Right before the show, we just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to read live on screen. Roll that segue wheel and get into today's headlines. Today on Thursdays 13. Shock in Germany as more than 50 blood-painted swastikas appear overnight.
And also, this year in the United States, breaking news, probably should take a staycation or a holiday this year because the FAA is cutting 10% of its workforce.
South African investigating recruitment of citizens into mercenary activities in Russia-Ukraine war. And study says deep-sea mining for critical minerals could threaten ocean food web.
And we have your election results for Thursdays 13 from Abigail to Zoran. We have your election results.
In my culture news, Fortnite's The Simpsons season is a worthy tribute to one of the most celebrated shows of all time. This is according to Matthew Reynolds on The Guardian.
And get saxy, it's National Saxophone Day on November 6, 2025 on Before Coffee.
Did you forget what year it was? I saw the light leave your eyes there.
No, I just take my time when I paused there. So I don't think there was any memory loss involved there.
It's November 6th.
That don't work.
It was a while.
Closing windows that don't work. I got windows that aren't open and just slowing everything down.
Everything's slowing down.
Yeah, I got nothing going. Let's spin the wheel, I guess.
Let's get some crunchy nachos and get into our stories. Let's roll the segue wheel. Segue me this. It's the segue wheel. The segue wheel. This is the segue wheel song that I just made up. You're gonna have to give me a hypothetical about these two stories that I'm reading. This first one is coming out of Germany. Uh-oh. Swastikas being painted all over the place by blood. More than 50. That's not good because Germany actually has laws against being a Nazi and showing swastikas. You do not have freedom of expression when it comes to Nazis. This is from an AP correspondent on The Independent. Police in Germany have launched an investigation after almost 50 cars, mailboxes, and building facades in central town of Hanau were defaced with swastikas, reportedly painted using human blood. Officers were first alerted yesterday on the 5th of November, when a man reported seeing a distinctive shape of a swastika applied in a reddish liquid on the bonnet of his parked vehicle. A subsequent special test quickly confirmed that the substance was human blood. Authorities confirmed that almost 50 cars in total had been vandalized in a similar way. The background is completely unclear, Leopold said, adding that investigators did not know if specific cars, mailboxes, and buildings were targeted, or if the swastikas were applied randomly. He said that there were several scribblings on cars and buildings which he could not further identify. There was no indication who left it behind or where the blood came from, Leopold said. He added that officials were not aware of any injuries in connection with the incident. For now, Police are investigating property damage and the use of symbols unconstitutional organizations. Display of Nazi emblems, including the swastika, is illegal in Germany. The swastika is widely considered a symbol of hate that evokes the trauma of the Holocaust and the horrors of Nazi Germany. White supremacist, neo-Nazi groups, and vandals have continued to use it after the end of World War II to stoke fear and hate, and also because they think they're edgy. You know, a kid gets a freaking, I'm gonna draw a bad symbol with my Sharpie on this thing. Ha 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 ha. Look how edgy I am, guys. I bet you guys think. Hanau was in the headlines 5 years ago when a German attacker shot and killed 9 people with immigrant roots in a rampage at a hookah bar in town, in one of the worst cases of domestic terrorism since. It is believed the gunman returned home after his rampage and shot himself. Officers said there were no indications other suspects were involved in the attack. Germany's political landscape has been polarized in recent years, with the wave of immigration and the slowing economy helping to fuel support for extremist groups at both ends of the spectrum. I can describe the scene to you, which is honestly it almost looks like really bad chalk, like some chalk that's been washed off. That's what the blood looks like. It's not very saturated. It's very, yeah. It's like, oh, if your finger's bleeding and you wipe it on a Kleenex and it's not really, strong. That's what it looks like. So it's very, it's very faded.
Fresh
but they're huge. They're probably bigger than my head, bigger than my torso. They're pretty big swastikas. They're not tiny. Just arm strokes.
So it's blood, but they can't test the DNA to see it belongs to.
Well, that's not how DNA works. You have to actually have the other person's DNA in order to test it. You have to compare it to something.
Other person where? How do they know it's human blood?
Probably because they are able to test for it being human blood. But you can't... How DNA testing works is you have to compare it to something.
I absolutely know how DNA testing works. What you do is you put it into a sample of known DNA samples and see if they're related to anybody. There's all kinds of databases that exist.
Yeah, I'm just saying they would have to... They could test it against a criminal database, I'm sure. But it's going to take a while. So this should just happen today, right? So...
I don't think it'll take a while. It takes almost minutes I guess it just happened today.
They have to compare it to all of the DNA they possibly have, right? That could be a huge amount of DNA.
I can take my DNA and compare it on Ancestry.com to literally millions of people tomorrow. And I can send the results and have them.
But they're probably accessing their criminal database first for people on...
Really? Why would it be a criminal? They probably murdered somebody. Why would they be using their own? That's a lot of blood, right?
No, it's not a lot of blood. I could just prick my finger and get this amount of blood. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
How many things did they deface?
50. It could have been multiple people too. That's the other thing.
That's a lot of blood.
There's no detail here. Like it could be multiple people as well. They just don't have any details. This just happened, And they're not sharing it with us, I guess.
I'm just asking questions that, a reporter would ask.
I wish I had the answers for you. I think these are good questions.
Obviously, these are acts of violent terrorism, or as J.D. Vance would call them, kids. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, kid. Oh, they're just 40-year-old kids. Yeah, I wish I was considered a kid that day I registered for the draft.
Yeah, right? Sorry, I'm a child.
Yeah.
I can't go.
You're a kid now. Here's a gun. Go die somewhere.
Well, they do that, sadly, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. You're not a kid when you're 18 anymore. The government can just send you off somewhere to die. That's hypothetical, right? Yikes. Yeah, youthful indiscretion stops being a thing one day, and that's the day the government considers you an adult. And some governments don't even care. They'll try to
there's 15. The reason why there's laws on consent is because they determined that, hey, wait, at 16 you are able to make thoughts and decide that things are bad. So you no longer, even at 16, you don't have the defense of just a kid. He's 16. He understands consequences and that he was, tossing somebody out of a building or whatever.
But that sounds like something that a pedophile would say, don't you think? Right? Oh, yeah, well, she knew what she was doing. You know? Anyway.
What? Okay.
I'm just turning the
Anyways, next story. As you're calling me a pedophile for whatever reason.
I'm calling you a pedophile. I just think it's ironic. That's the kind of defense a pedophile would use.
But I'm just saying that the age of consent is based on that stuff, which would include, yes, if you have sex with a 16-year-old. But usually that's if 16-year-olds have sex with each other, not if a 25-year-old does. Right? That's a different thing. That's a different issue. That is pedophilia, I would argue.
I have no idea what the actual consent actually. It's probably interpreted everywhere different. I know the southern states, a lot of them want it to be 14. It's like, well, you know.
Yeah, Japan famously as well.
All of whatever's wives in the Bible, they were all 14. I'm like, yeah, the Bible. Okay, we're using that for laws now.
Yes. The medical journal that is the Bible.
Born. Yeah, right.
All right, let's go to my next story, which is about...
Oh, you got another story.
South Africa is investigating citizens who've been recruited into mercenary activities to fight for Russia against Ukraine. This is from Tanya Hironshina on the Kyiv Independent. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa ordered an investigation today on November 6th into the circumstances that led to the recruitment of 17 South African men for suspected mercenary activity in the Russian-Ukraine war. The South African president said its statement by SA News, the government official news agency. According to the statement, the South African government received distress calls from 17 men aged 20 to 39 who found themselves trapped in the Donbass region of Ukraine. 17 men, 16 of them from KwaZulu-Natal and one from Eastern Cape province, were lured into joining mercenary forces in the Russian-Ukraine war under the pretext of lucrative employment contracts. Hey, I'm going to pay you a lot of money. Just go die for Russia, the presidency said. South Africa's 1998 Foreign Military Assistance Act prohibits citizens and organizations from offering or rendering military assistance to foreign governments or participating in armed forces of foreign governments unless authorized by the South African government. Basically, you cannot hire mercenaries from South Africa. It's against their law. They have a law specifically against this, okay? If you want to be a mercenary, you have to do it legally in South Africa.
Yeah, you can't come back to South Africa. You can't live there. They will revoke your citizenship, theoretically, right?
Yeah.
I would
President
think so.
Ramaphosa has directed that an investigation be undertaken into the circumstances that led to the recruitment of these young men into what appears to be mercenary activity, the statement read. The South African government is working through diplomatic channels to ensure the return of these young men following the request for assistance to come home. The statement did not specify which side the men were fighting for. I think it's probably Russia. I think there's an option to volunteer to fight for Ukraine, but I feel like it's a Russian thing to convince other people. But maybe I'm biased. I will admit my bias. If it happens to Ukrainians, it'll be on the corrections. They'll be on the corrections.
I will say this. The CIA probably has a lot of paid consultants over there.
So you think it's the CIA who's recruiting them?
The CIA has their own army. Yeah. And they recruit people from.
And they're recruiting for Ukraine?
Right. Why would we use Americans for that shit? It's the CIA. We con people into it, right? We have something they want.
I mean, it sounds like they were just fighting on the front lines, though. They weren't being secret criminal, like secret service members. Not secret, they weren't spying. It seems like they were just fighting on the front lines.
But from what I know about the CIA, which is I'm not an expert, they do have an army, and they do recruit foreign army people to be mercenaries. I mean, there's no other way to call it. You're paying them because you're a professional soldier. We need you. You're really good at this, and you retired from that friggin' service after 5 years of killing people for them. Here, come work for us. It's just one of them jobs that you never talk about. It's never a testimony in Congress.
Somebody else could be doing it too. Yeah.
Yeah, if you watch the initial Iraq or Afghanistan invasion, there was a lot of CIA that were getting killed, like CIA soldiers. Hey, sorry, I'm interrupting your.
The statement did not specify which side the men were fighting for. However, since the start of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Moscow has been actively recruiting foreign fighters from countries, often luring them with promise of employment or Russian citizenship. North Koreans make up the largest number of foreign fighters in Russia and Ukraine, but that was due to an actual treaty between North Korea and Russia, not, tricking people into joining a mercenary. According to the HUR, Ukraine's military intelligence, North Korea, the largest group fighting for Russia are from after North Korea. The largest group of foreigners fighting for Russia are Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Belarus, all countries that want to be part of the Russian Federation, except maybe Cuba is interesting. I don't know much about Cuba and Russia and their
the Cuba-Russia pipelines existed since Castro took power because the United States didn't want Castro, so they ignored him. So it's never stopped. We're the only country with an embargo on Cuba. Nobody else has one. Canada doesn't. Mexico doesn't. I'm sorry.
Citizens of Syria, Serbia, Nepal, and some African countries have also participated in combat operations as part of a Russian-occupied unit, but their numbers are significantly smaller. But there you go. That's all the news. It's not really news. It's just like, hey, Russia might be. Can't confirm. Duping people in South Africa into joining the offensive, and then also making them break the law. Right? It's against their act, their Foreign Military Assistance Act, to be helping another power in a conflict. So a felony, I guess. It's probably a felony.
Well, if you got a special skill, why not exploit it for money? At least you're putting your ass on the line at the same time, I would say. I mean, I would be anti-mercenary if they weren't drafting young kids to go into these wars and die for no fucking reason, okay? I'd be anti-mercenaries. I'd say, let mercenaries fight it out. Let them kill each other. I'm saying they're good at it anyway. They make good videos, too. I'm sorry?
That's the end of the article. That's it. Is that your hypothetical? Let's only use mercenaries?
Oh. I was going to quote System of a Down. Why don't presidents fight in war? Why do we always send the poor?
Yeah, why can't Putin and Zelensky just do like a boxing match or something?
No, Zelensky's poor. Don't confuse him with an oligarch. Nah, have Putin just go try to invade Ukraine by himself. Just him and his karate lessons, or whatever the fuck he's got, black belt and something.
Him and his horse.
Hey, he's got a black belt. He's one of them black belts, even. Whatever. Vampire. He's a fucking vampire. All right, let's spin the wheel for my dealy thing, whatever we call it. Before this...
Okay, let's roll the segue wheel for your story.
Becomes Friday 14th.
It's rolling. The segue wheel is rolling. It's gonna land on...
Okay, we're gonna talk about one stupid thing going on in this planet. Let's see if we can load this page.
Our hot planet.
Reuters has this story. Reuters.com. I was talking about, hey, the Thanksgiving vacation season's coming up. Everybody goes over to their family and gets in a fight with their Trumpster Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe insists, the commies are taking over. And he goes and hides in his bunker. Well, you're going to miss that this year because you're taking a staycation because you're terrified to fly home. Why are you terrified? Because you've already got air traffic controllers working without salary. And now the U.S. has ordered 10% flight cuts at major U.S. airports due to shutdown. Yeah, the government's still shut down. The Trumpstein shutdown is entering, well, it's well into its second month. Of course, it started October 1st, which is the theoretical start of the fiscal year in the United States. Fiscal year hasn't started yet, and every government employee who is actually at work is not getting paid, except for ICE. They got money for people to kick down your door, but no money for air safety. Yeah, this is the world we live in. Sorry, folks.
I think there was a plane crash I saw on one of the Discords I'm in.
Oh, it was a UPS crash in Louisville. And 11 people died. It's been all over the news. I don't like the gruesome news so much myself. I like to predict the gruesome news and be right. That's basically where I'm coming from, right? I don't like to be right. I'd love to be wrong. But again, I know this is going to lead to tragedy. 10% flight cut. They're doing that for safety. But you're not going to do nothing about the stress of working without a paycheck, the stress of your co-workers being sent home. Now I got more to do. Okay, so let's talk about it from Reuters. Oh, did I give the guy's name, or am I just yammering? David Shepardson and Rajesh Singh from Reuters.com. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, who, again, was a guy who got a start on that MTV show, Real World, or whatever it was. That's how he got a start. One of them real world guys, not even a real serious person, somehow is the Transportation Secretary. Yep. We're fucked. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said on Wednesday that he would order a 10% cut on flights in 40 major U.S. airports, citing air traffic control safety concerns as government shutdown the Trumpstein shutdown hit a record 36 days. Once again, Congress is not in session because Dinglenuts, what's his name there? Oh yeah, Grinder Mike Johnson would rather just be spending all of his day looking at his phone, hooking up for little trysts with dudes he met on the internet, than actually running the government. So he won't even seat a duly elected member of Congress. He's been elected since September 23rd. He's still not seated. Congress is still not in session because Grinder Mike is protecting pedophiles. Back to the story. The drastic plan sent airlines scrambling to make significant reductions in flights in just 36 hours, and passengers flooded airline customer service hotlines with concerns about travel in the coming days. There's an ad. Duffy said the cuts could be reversed. Oh, here he goes with this propaganda. The shutdown, the longest in U.S. history, has forced 13,000 air traffic controllers with 50,000 transportation secretary administration agents to work without pay.
Oh my God, that's a lot of people, guys. 13,000.
Work without pay. Here's your typical MAGA. Well, they're going to get that back pay. Oh yeah, when the sheriff's setting all their stuff on the sidewalk because they can't pay their
and they are living in their
mortgage
car
or their rent. Yeah. Tell them that they're going to get their back pay when they lose their house. Go ahead. I know it's over dramatization, but again, if you still support Trump, what are you getting out of it? I mean, what other than the satisfaction of watching people suffer? What are you getting? And Duffy's trying to blame
for sure.
Duffy's trying to blame the Democrats and Republicans control both the Senate and the House. And I don't know why they think they need. Well, we need 60 votes in the Senate. Well, how many votes do you need to get Grinder Mike back to doing his job? How many votes do you need for that? Well, negotiating. What they're negotiating, the Republicans are negotiating, trying to take away medical benefits for about half the country. That's what That's what they want. They're going to fund the government continuously without funding anybody's medical insurance that was legislation that was passed. It's law. But you know what? Whatever. They don't care. If you're not rich, they don't care. Somebody out there is going to start getting the message. Hello. Let's get back to the story about this travesty that the Trump administration is. They're trying to ramp up pressure on Democrats, saying they shut down and blame the Democrats. How's that working? I think we had election like 2 days ago in a whole bunch of states, and not just blue states, boys and girls. Not just blue states. You need to pay attention. They're blaming you. Shutdown amplifies staffing shortages. Tens of thousands of flights have been delayed since the shutdown began because of widespread air traffic control shortages. Airlines say at least 3.2 million travelers have already been impacted by air traffic control shortages. We had a gut check of what here's this idiot. Duffy talking, sorry. We had a gut check of what is our job. That's a sentence said by a human being, right? Did that make any sense? We had a gut check of what is our job. Tell me what that means. Anyone? Those are some words put together. Citing a confidential safety assessment of the impact of the shutdown on controllers that raises concerns about their performance. Our job is to make sure we make the hard decisions to continue to keep the airspace safe. Yeah.
All 13,000 of those people who aren't working are bad at their job. All 13,000 of them. Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't trust Sean Duffy to fold a piece of paper. He would fuck it up. We had a gut check of what is our job. Yep. What the fuck does that even mean? In a call with major U.S. characters, the FAA said capacity reductions at the airports would start at 4%. Rising to 5% Saturday, 6% Sunday, and then 10% next week. Industry sources told Reuters, we're just planning for a long-term shutdown. We're never going to bring these guys back to work because Trump works for Russia. Yeah, that's right. They've been blackmailing him forever. I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole if you want, but we'll finish the story. When we see pressures building in these 40 markets, we just can't ignore it, FAA Administrator Brian Bedford said at a press conference. He sounds probably another criminal. We can take action today to prevent things from deteriorating, so the system is extremely safe today. We will be extremely safe tomorrow. Don't trust you at all. While the government did not name the 40 airports affected, the cuts were expected to hit 30 busiest airports, because of course you want to make the most dangerous ones more dangerous as possible. Yeah, let's cut the busiest ones. That makes sense. You know why? That's where the biggest cuts are. Are you with me? Yeah. Hey, you know what? Most people live in the cities. Did you know why that's where all the votes are? That's one of your funny little things about Republicans. I think land votes. Government officials said nothing would be final until the FAA published an order on Thursday. The move is armed at taking pressure of air traffic controllers. The FAA is about 3,500 air traffic controllers short of targeted staffing levels, and many have been working mandatory overtime 6 to 8 weeks before the shutdown. We've already kind of covered the fact they're working for nothing. Airlines brace for drops in bookings. The closure, which began October 1st, left many low-income Americans without food assistance, closed many government services, and led to the furlough of about 75,000 federal employees. Duffy had warned Tuesday that if the federal government shutdown continued another week, it could lead to mass chaos and force him to close some of the national airspace to air traffic. There you go. Just more chaos from the chaos master. The guy who looks at his belly button all day and thinks, here's Trump looking at his belly button all day long. I know it's a metaphor, but that's basically him. Looking at his belly button. That's his entire universe is as big as his navel. That is it. That's all it cares about. Him, his ego, and there's a bunch of clowns out there that think you walks on water. And I can't think they're real people. I think they're aliens from space, but I have no proof. But there's your story on We're Totally Fucked Again. And it's really hard to understand why, but again, you spend time with a few Americans, you'll figure it out. They're dumb as shit.
I think a lot of people who aren't Americans can agree with that. It sounds like we're really burning the boat at both ends.
What's that? There you go. I forgot my soundboard.
We're burning the boat at both ends here. Oh, wow. I can't believe they started a fire. We also started a fire, but they started a fire too. Okay, so, but they're more guilty than us. Yeah, I don't have to sit here and go and try to defend liberty every day, do I? Like the right to just say things that aren't really hurting anyone without being arrested, or, you know, just being safe or having something to eat. I got to defend that. Yeah, having something to eat. The Christians of all people, right? Is that your only story?
All right, sorry. That's my only story, and I dragged it out. So
here we go. Let's roll our segue wheel for my next story.
Everything. Okay.
Rolling the wheel. It's rolling the wheel. We're rolling the wheel for. Ooh, is that a haiku? That's a haiku, right? Oh no, sorry, a limerick. It was a limerick. It was right on the cusp, but it says here that limerick was rolled. Give me a limerick.
Next to each other?
Damn. Don't worry, this is a long story, so I have plenty of time.
I'm going to put
It says this story is 6 minutes long. I don't know if it's going to be that long, but that's what it says here.
6 minutes?
This is coming from a study of deep sea mining on AP News by Alexa St. John. Drilling for minerals deep in the ocean can have immense consequences for the tiny animals at the core of the vast marine web, and ultimately affect fisheries and the food we find on our plates, according to a new study. Deep sea mining means drilling to the seafloor for polymetallic nodules loaded with critical minerals including copper, zinc, iron, and more. While not yet commercialized, nations are pursuing deep sea operations amid rising demand for these minerals in electric vehicles and other parts of the energy transition. as well as the technology and military use. The researchers examined water and waste gathered from a deep-sea mining trial in 2022. University of Hawaii researchers studied an area of the Pacific Ocean called the Twilight Zone, about 650 to 5,000 feet, 200 to 1,500 meters, below sea level. Their peer-reviewed findings, published today on the 6th of November in the Nature Communications Scientific Journal, so if you want to read the whole study, that's where you have to go, say mining waste could affect anything from tiny shrimp, smaller than 0.08 inches or 2 millimeters long, to fish 2 inches or 5 centimeters. That's because after mining companies bring the mineral-rich nodules up to the surface, they have to release the excess seawater, ocean floor dirt, and sediment back into the ocean. That creates a murky plume of particles about the same size as the naturally occurring food particles normally eaten by zooplankton that swim at that depth. That's a little more than half of the zooplankton in the ocean. If those organisms eat the waste particles, what senior study author Brian Popp called junk food, then that affects 60% of the micronecton that eat the zooplankton. So what we're saying here is you put out a giant plume of mining waste, right? You're a little zooplankton, and you're like, ooh, wow, look at all this food, and you start eating it, and then the things that eat you eat that, and then it goes up the chain, okay? And then it's like microplastics, right? We eat little things that have microplastics. Now we have microplastics all in our body. That's what's going to happen to the zooplankton. They're going to spread this junk food into the entire food chain. And it's unnourishment. It does not provide any nutrition. It's just sand, really. The undernourishment is a problem because these tiny organisms are the food source up the chain, ultimately affecting commercially important fish such as mahi-mahi. Surface fish can dive down deep into the water. They feed on organisms down at the depths, said Michael Dowd, study leader, author, and oceanography graduate student. If these organisms down at the depth are no longer present because their food web has collapsed, then that could impact higher food webs. While the research has highlighted the negative environmental impacts from mining of nodules, the focus is often on the sea floor. The study looks at midwater, so this is like actually what happens when you dump your shit back in the ocean. Researchers said more work needs to be done to assess the appropriate quality and depth at which dirty water and sediment from sea mining could be returned to the ocean. But they said returning the excess directly to the ocean floor or at the depths could be just as environmentally disruptive as in the Twilight Zone, only in different ways. Popp said digging up deep sea might not be necessary, and instead noted alternative sources of metals, including recycling batteries and electronics, or sifting through mining waste and tailings. If only a single company in mining in one single spot is not going to affect a huge fishery, is not going to affect a huge amount of water. If many companies are mining for many years and outputting a lot of minerals, this is going to spread across the region, Dowd said. The more mining occurs, the more problems will be. It might not be viable to simply halt ocean mining. The International Seabed Authority that governs mineral activity beyond national jurisdiction has already granted several contracts for exploration, not for mining, but looking for places to find mine. Convicted felon Trump has expressed interest in deep-sea mining operations. China has a limited access to the swathe of critical minerals, in which he signed an executive order directing the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to expedite and permit the process for companies to mine the ocean. And in May, the administration said it would consider selling leases to extract minerals off the South Pacific island of American Samoa, which we've already talked about on the show. The American Samoas are not very happy about. Hey, let's destroy our ocean floor. Woohoo! There goes this tropical paradise. Environmental groups have advocated against deep-sea mining, citing not only the direct harm to wildlife and parts of the sea, but also the disturbance of planet-warming carbon dioxide that's currently sequestered in the ocean. Right, there's a bunch of gas down there, and we want it to stay down there. It was well laid out in the study that the impacts could necessarily be the depth that the plume is released, said Cheryl Murdoch, a deep-sea postdoctoral researcher at Arizona State University who was not involved in the study. The question being, is it worth a few minerals to potentially destroy the ocean and how it functions? Diva Amnon, a marine biologist and doctoral researcher at the University of California, Santa Barbara, praised the research for examining potential consequences. All of this could lead to species illness, species movement, species death. Depending on the scale of this, that could have a graver repercussions, like species extinction, said Amnon, who wasn't involved in the study but has previously worked with some of the researchers. There's a lot more research that needs to be done to be able to make an informed decision about how to manage this industry. If it does start in a way that will prevent essentially serious harm and its ecosystem. There's your story on a study, an actual study saying, hey, we already know it's going to do bad stuff here and here and here, but we found a new thing is going to probably disrupt, so we probably shouldn't do it. Maybe an option.
What are we mining exactly? Looking for rare earth? Is that what
Copper, zinc, iron, just it's basically a new way to mine those precious metals that we use for everything. Right? Instead of us looking under the ground, we're looking in the ocean.
I could see if we were going for some kind of rare earth metal that's only
like lithium or something.
Or, some weird shit like that. But copper? Really? Got open pit copper mines all over the
copper, iron, zinc, and more. So there's probably lithium might be in there. I don't know. But...
Oh, okay. More. Check on my element table. I don't see it. Okay. Here's your limerick. I work at a mine, and the mine is mine. Below the sea, my mine you will find. This sounds like Dr. Seuss, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I work at a mine, and the mine is mine. Below my mine you will find. I'm sorry. One more time. I work at a mine, and the mine is mine. Below the sea, my mine you will find. My mine creates waste. Zooplankton have a taste. Now my mine that is mine is in decline.
That's a good. That did sound like a Dr. Seuss thing. Good one. Good one.
The tongue twister. Why you lose my tongue, guy?
Yeah, that was really good.
That was almost
the new Dr. Seuss book about, you know how they had that one about the trees, and this one's going to be about deep sea mining. They're going to feature that one in there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's roll our next segue for your next story. Or, sorry, not your story. Your Thursday's 13 list. We finally made it to the theme of today's show. And I will think of a hypothetical about this.
American elections. There's elections all over the country the other day.
There's elections all over the world.
Oh, okay. I guess there was Ireland elections or something too. So.
Yeah, there was.
Okay, so we got the 13 that were like, I don't know. New York City mayor is big for a lot of reasons, but I don't know if it necessarily says anything about the rest of the country. But oh boy, the rest of these elections did. New York City mayors are number one, and that's Zohran Mamdani. Won over 50% of, I said a 20-way race. It's basically a 6-way race, but write-ins got a lot, so I guess I was counting them. He won over 50%, which is really hard in a race where, you got an ex-governor.
There's so many different people, yeah. You would expect it more to be like 30% or something, but no.
Right. And you say, well, that's just some city, and that's always liberal. But really, if they're that liberal, why did they have the Republican mayor 3 terms? He actually broke the law getting 3rd term, Bloomberg, and he was a Republican, the whole Obama administration. So, right, they were to the right of the government then. So, although he's a liberal, socially, he's money guy. Bloomberg, come on, hello. So New York City is not necessarily a harbinger, but again, this is a big city, biggest city in America. 2.3 million people voted. Just for comparison, that's the same amount of voters who voted in the last presidential election, which is usually a big election, right? Get the most voters out. In Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, and Wyoming. You combine all the voters in all of those states, and I think I might even left out a state, but yeah, you still don't get 2.3 million actual voters in the last 5. I looked it up in the last presidential election. So it's a big deal because all of those states get 2 senators and at least one representative. So they're screwing up our elections every damn year, even though this stuff they're voting for ain't really that popular when you look at how many people are for it in actuality. Number 2 is Virginia Governor. Abigail Spanberger became the first woman to be elected Virginia Governor. She won 57-42, which is an ass kicking. She's a former CIA officer. I was talking to the CIA earlier. Like, she knows about mercenaries. But she ain't gonna tell you. You have to torture her first. And even then, she probably had to take some kind of pill. But anyway, former CIA officer Abigail Spanberger probably has presidential aspirations, I would think, after being elected governor of Virginia. Really got trounced in Virginia. That election was not really close. She ran against the Winsome Earl Sears, one of your rare black MAGA women, right? She did not get a whole lot of support in that state, but she's got 42%. She was totally trounced. Their next race.
Hello, Dorina. I hope you're having a good Thursday.
Huh? Happy Thursday. I'm still trying to read what I wrote here. New Jersey governor's our third one. We have former Navy pilot Mikey Sherrill defeats Jackie Ciatrelli. I guess that guy runs for governor like every 4 years and loses. So he got trounced again. 56-43 was the latest election returns. Most of the votes are in. These things were called. Most of these races were called pretty damn early on TV. It's like they're going to pretend that it's not a trouncing on TV just to keep people on TV through their first commercial break. But by the time they're back from the first commercial break, they've called every race. They just close. Like, we're going to call the Virginia governor. Like, yeah, no shit, huh? Everybody else on the internet, we're looking at it, right? So, yeah, we know when the decision desk calls it because they actually have, a show. and Twitter, because Twitter's, it's right on Twitter. At number 4... Oh, we're going to talk about Mikey Sherrill. It's a Navy pilot, Mikey Sherrill. Her name is Mikey, short for Michelle, I imagine. So, yeah, she won. So, Navy pilot, one of your, not the first woman governor of New Jersey. Christy Todd Whitman beat her to her like 30 years ago. But Christy Todd was a Republican, so she's the first Democratic woman. There you go. Number 4, Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Pennsylvania screwed up our election last cycle, right? 1 year ago today, Pennsylvania was busy screwing up our election by voting for Trump. Well, they reversed their stupidity by what they had was a ballot. What they do is they vote yes or no on current judges after they're elected, right? And if you get a no, then they have a special election later. So, Pennsylvania Supreme Court, Kevin Daugherty won 61-38, Christine Donahue won 61-38, and David Wecht won 61-38. All Democrats. Democrats retain a 5-2 edge on the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, which is big news. In a swing state where elections can get contested, like, Rudy Giuliani did last time with his chicanery. So that's a big news. Pennsylvania Supreme Court, another big just trouncing. Would you say they got trashed? Oh, they got trashed. They got
trashed. Yeah, I love saying that. They got completely trashed.
I mean, all 3 of these were a similar margin, like exactly the same. It ain't like somebody said, I want to retain this guy or that side. No, it's straight on party line. It's like, I don't even care if all 3 of these people are assholes. They're just, sticking it to the current power structure, saying, first of all, release the Epstein files. What are you hiding? What are you hiding? What are you hiding? What the reason you're hiding it is pathetic, really. Who are you protecting? Money? Voters are more important than money. This is what we got to show. Votes are over money. Votes over money every time, because money belongs to so few people that they decide what it's worth. That's how bad it is. Anyway, So number five, Attorney General Jay Jones. Now, again, he made some kind of remarks that sunk his ship, supposedly, in any other election year. Had some posts on Facebook that were could it be considered aggressive? I'm not going to repeat them because I don't care. I was like, Trump, again, here's your media controversy over this guy's remarks when Trump makes 50 hateful posts every single day, at least 50, and he never stops, and nobody ever calls him on it anymore. But this guy, oh, he made a hateful remark. I don't care. Anyway, they said he was headed for defeat, but he still won 53-47. Won by 6 points. He defeats a guy named John Byrains, who conceded right away. He said, we're going to work together, which is the spirit of democracy, not the spirit of one thing against you. Number 6, Virginia House of Delegates. Oh, okay, Virginia's another one of those swing states, theoretically. Well, Democrats at a 51-49. They have 100 people in the House of Delegates. 100, that's their Congress. Democrats had a bare majority going into the election. 51-49. They now have a majority that's wavering between 64-36 and 65-30. That's right. They won anywhere between 13 to 14 seats. It might maybe 15 seats. Yeah, that's almost a super majority. That means 2/3. And that's one election. That's a big swing. Also, Virginia Lieutenant Governor was another race to watch there. Sometimes they don't have coattails, but again, it was the exact same margin. Virginia Lieutenant Governor. Number 8, Maine had an anti-voting law. I got to read this thing, man. I had it up earlier, but I think I closed it. But I'll read the Maine anti-voting law. But it was absolute nonsense. They wanted to ban mail-in voting. Okay, I'm in the military, and I'm in, I don't know, Egypt, Bahrain, where the fuck I am. I can't vote. Fuck you. So that went down big. I mean, who the hell who wants to disenfranchise the military? They're the people that are out there doing shit that you don't have to do. You sons of bitches. Anyway, that went down. That's another main anti-voting law. Shut the hell up. Way out west, this was another big one. The California gerrymander won 63%. That is a drubbing, my friends. All you had to do on the California gerrymander was go out to the voting booth. The only one thing on the ballot. The whole entire state had one thing on the ballot. And people turned out in droves, lined up to vote, yes, we want to gerrymander California to stick it to Texas. So that won big. So they're sticking it to Texas, and there are already people announced for those districts that haven't even been gerrymandered yet, right? They just know what the map looks like, because they're like, yeah, we're writing this freaking map. And it's only good for this next election, by the way. So they're not trying to fuck the state up permanently and disenfranchise voters, which is what this is. It's disenfranchising voters. It's bull. But Texas is doing the same fucking thing, and they're doing it behind closed doors, right? Voters didn't get a say. California let the voters say. Guess what? Number 10, Detroit mayor. Detroit mayor is like a rising star. We're going to talk about her in a minute. Her name is Sheffield, but I accidentally closed that window too, and I know I have but she's been like a rising star in politics there for a while. She's the first woman to be elected Detroit mayor. Detroit's one of them cities that's been failing for a long time and is trying to rebound because capitalists, once again, they had their fun and took their toys elsewhere. That's what they do. So Detroit's been recovering. It's a major, it's a minority city for sure. So once again, but they've never had a woman mayor. They always had a minority mayor, usually. But she's the first. And again, a rising star. She was in the city council when she was 26. And now she's the mayor at 37. I'd be thinking she's probably going to be governor pretty soon. But we'll see. We'll see Detroit turn around. And that's good news anyway. Good news from people running for office who are young. Number 11, Colorado codified into law that school meals are free. Wow, what a radical idea. I don't have much to say about that, but how do kids learn if they're worried about their stomach going all morning, all day? I couldn't get breakfast. I had oatmeal for dinner. I had oatmeal for breakfast. I got no nutrition. The only nutrition I get in my life is at school because I'm poor. Okay, so at least Colorado is using that weed money to help people get better at stuff. You can't be smart if your brain don't work, and your brain don't work if it's got no nutrition. Number 12, Georgia Utility Board went from no Democrats to two Democrats is they upset the two of the sitting people that are sitting there. So, and two Republicans lost their jobs on the utility board. It's a big thing in Georgia. Of course, the utilities, it's really hard to defend utilities nowadays as, oh, wow, we're creating huge power sources and my bill's still going up. Right? What's the number one sector of growth in the United States? Number one growth sector in the United States is the power creation industry. However, my utility bills are going up because of cryptocurrency and AI that we don't fucking need. Yeah. So anyway, utility boards, I'd be terrified to be in a utility board right now. Number 13 is Mississippi, who had the Republicans had a super majority, but they lost almost every race they're in. So their super majority has gone down. Let's basically give them a blurb on that. This is from New York Times, since I'm already near the end here. On Tuesday, Democrats claimed victory in Newry drawn Senate district anchored by city of Hattiesburg. John Dupree, a former Democratic nominee for governor, former four-term Hattiesburg mayor, defeated Anna Rush, a Republican lawyer. Democrats also claimed victory in a new Senate district and suburban district just south of Memphis. Like South Memphis, I think is actually what it's called, right? Teresa Gillespie from a retired nurse bested Charlie Hoots, a local Republican alderman. Both Democrats are black, both Republicans are white. As a result, Republicans now just hold a 34-18 advantage. That's a big advantage. Just 2/3 necessarily have a supermajority. Supermajority means nobody even gets to debate. That's basically what a supermajority is. Supermajority is what a lot of states have these days. They have a House controlled by dominant. Right. Not a damn thing is going to hit the governor. Even if the governor is the other party, you might as well just give up. Nothing's going to pass. So, and if you want to even talk, you can't talk. Tennessee has this. Texas has this. California has Democratic supermajority, but they don't suppress free speech in it. But these other ones do. You've seen with Tennessee in action before. Anyway, there's your results in Mississippi, which is, again, if you're losing in Mississippi, you've lost a lot of people. So there's your Thursday 13, but all the good elections. There was not one bad election result I can think of, except the idiotic Texas amendment, which says something about parents have rights to control their kids or some shit. And another one that said you needed to be an American citizen to vote, which already fucking exists in the Constitution. So Texas thinks they need to put a fucking amendment in there for that.
Just to make sure, I guess, the federal government won't force, hey, you know what? Fuck it, everyone can vote. Woo, let's go. Put your ballots in now. If you've got a tax code, you can... Okay. I sometimes wish it was like that. If you've got a tax, here's your hypothetical. If you have a tax code, you can vote. Here you go. You pay taxes, you can vote. I think that's a more truer statement to democracy than I was born.
Other than the oligarchs totally abusing that system. That's a great.
Well, they only get one vote. They don't get 20 votes. They're just one.
Do you think they can't buy somebody's vote? All right. I'm just. saying.
It's already happening. So why are we acting like it's? Why that would make it worse? It'd be the same as it is now. We would just have the transparency.
It would make it more profitable.
Well, there's my hypothetical, and there's your Thursday's 13 list.
People selling their votes. All right. I got applause. That was your hype.
I should be the one getting applause, but I guess okay, here's your applause.
Hold
Thanks
on.
for the list.
No, sorry.
No, we get it. You need to be celebrated with your list. This is also sarcasm. I'm being sarcastic. Let's roll our next segue for my culture news. The wheel is spinning. Is it gonna land on something? Is it landing on accurate metaphor simile? This story is coming from... Where was it coming from? Fortnite! Gaming news, yes. We have a lot of Homer Simpson sound things on our soundboard here. And Fortnite is also getting some Simpson branding, as it had a whole season based off The Simpsons, and this is Matthew Reynolds' review on it. I have seen some gameplay of it, but I don't want to say it tonight. I have no actual opinion on the gameplay, so we're going to read what Matthew Reynolds on The Guardian has to say. Crammed with cameos, this recreation of Springfield in Fortnite's evolving virtual playground is a delight for longtime fans of the show. Shame it's not here for long. Oh, it's not permanent? That sucks. After years of collaborations with Disney on Marvel and Star Wars, it's finally happening. The Simpsons have arrived in Fortnite. Whereas most of these crossovers comprise of themed skins and emotes, this is a complete takeover, with an entire stylized map based on Springfield Explore. It's a smart way of introducing American TV's longest-running sitcom to a younger audience. Especially with the news of a second movie on its way, they're really putting in that marketing, aren't they? But for millennials, this is the culmination of a year-long campaign to catch our attention. If previous collabs with Power Rangers, Scream, and Mortal Kombat are anything to love. Though this could have been a quick ploy for those who grew up on a diet of after-school BBC Two, for anyone who doesn't know. British people love The Simpsons, and they do watch The Simpsons. It's actually crazy. I went when I was living in Wales for 2 months. They watched The Simpsons every evening. I'm like, it's like I never left America. It's like I never left. So they love The Simpsons. I think more people should talk about that. The UK's love for The Simpsons, which is an American show. Right?
Is that why they keep looking at me and expecting me to have 4 fingers?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's it.
But if you're British, you probably watched it on BBC Two on repeats. It's not a lazy cash-in, however. The familiar sights of Springfield you expect are here. There's a Simpsons home on Evergreen Terrace, the sloping lawns of the Burns Manor, and a town square with Moose Tavern and a statue of Jebediah Springfield, attachable head and towards the edge of the map is the nuclear power plant, pumping cartoon steam into the sky, featuring meltdowns that hurt by tapping against the console to the tune of Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, which is what Homer would do. Oh, which one turns this off? Cletus's farm and a slurp factory, the game's stuff, no beer on tap here, sit on the corners of the island. And every match starts with a charming recreation of the show's intro, complete with the parting cloud, the title card, and iconic theme song, where you thank Otto as you leave the battle bus and descend the map. For anybody who doesn't play Fortnite, you start on a bus that is floating like a hot air balloon bus, okay? And Mo, of course, is the bus driver in the show, so they made him the driver of the battle bus that you jump out of and you skydive out of to determine where you start in the game.
Why would Mo be driving a bus and not Otto?
Oh, sorry.
You say Otto?
I meant Otto. I said Mo came out of my mouth, but I meant Otto. Yes, Otto, the bus driver, is driving the bus in the sky there.
You think I'm not paying attention, huh?
No, I didn't think you weren't paying attention. It was just a slip of the tongue. They've had virtual depictions of Springfield before, though not for a while. The most recent was tapped out in 2012 in a Lego Dimension in 2015, but never rendered with this level of detail. Of course, no one's ever been able to walk around in Springfield. It has never existed this way, right? Because of the cartoon, all of these are just scenes, right? You never see how they're connected with each other, like in an open world environment. Springfield is on the smaller side as far as Fortnite maps go, and while it's mostly as you'd imagine, there is an odd quirk. The Hollywood-style Springfield sign is in the middle, not over the town. Shirley Springfield Gorge, centerpiece of the episode Bart the Daredevil, isn't this close to the residential streets where Homer, Marge, and Ned Flanders live. It's been squashed down and rearranged. No matter. Springfield's geography has always been a mystery, and what counts is that this dense recreation is a joy to explore. The secret of Fortnite's map design over the years is its knack for making good use of the space between larger landmarks. And here's an opportunity to cram in references for longtime fans to discover, whether it's stumbling upon a 33-cent store or the forever burning tire yard. Exploration is interpreted by optional quests with fun cameos, where a set of car keys can lead to a joyride at Homer's behest, or picking up a ringing payphone results in a prank call to Mo. Countering boss characters such as Krusty, who appears across the map, sees Nelson briefly appear to let out a telltale ha-ha upon their demise. There's a lot to be packed in. After a dozen or so matches, Matthew is still looking for or discovering more. If there's a fault, it's that the map has to be played in competitive settings. I agree. That's my problem with Fortnite completely. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I have to do PvP and fight other people with this? Never mind, I don't care. I'm not gonna play. The storm circle ever closing in and moving you on. He wishes there was more times to explore slowly without the battle royale setup. Though Fortnite's vibrant pop culture collabs are always best approached as playgrounds and not visual museums, he'd like an exception to be made here, especially for new or lapsed players drawn in by the update. If that's you, here's a few new things you can do to survive long enough to enjoy it. Play the less frantic zero build mode. Turn on visual sound effects in the settings menu to show player positions on screen, and remember, there's no shame in landing in the quieter spots of the map, letting others pick each other off first. Some of the best references are off the beaten path after all. The Simpsons collaboration is a month-long pause between fuller seasons. It ends on the 29th of November, so you only have a month to explore this map before it's gone. It'll be a shame to see such a brilliant tribute disappear. And though old maps have returned before, the very first Fortnite chapter did in 2020, breaking concurrent player records, most disappear for good. One series has staying power. It's
cool, man.
Here's hoping for a movie-style comeback. Maybe some hackers out there can pull the data out of Fortnite and get the map data so you can look at it and sort of map edit it. I don't know. It would be nice if you could do that.
Can we bring back the dead characters like Bleeding Gums Murphy and
maybe
Ned's wife?
You're gonna have to explore to find out.
Lionel Hutz, right? Lionel Hutz don't exist. The lawyer, because Phil Hartman did.
Sideshow Bob wasn't referenced at all in here, which is suspicious. He has to be in there somewhere.
Sideshow Bob, that's Kelsey Grammer. That's Kelsey Grammer, the guy who plays Frasier. Okay, so I've got a metaphor. You remember that saying? I don't know if you remember The Simpsons, where Homer says, "My uncle still got my nose." Right? The Simpsons still have our nose, and they won't give it back.
Yeah, they just won't. They just won't go away. As much as people say, "Oh, the show's not funny anymore," they just keep coming back and complaining.
No, it's relevant because they keep. It's always irrelevant because they keep predicting the future, and people keep going back and holy shit, how the hell did they know that was happening? They predicted Trump of all fucking things. Holy crap!
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
but there's my culture news. Let's get into today's history, and of course, you're gonna have some corrections for us.
That's great. Oh, no, I don't have any corrections today.
He's like, I lost my correction paper.
Oh, no, I don't have any corrections. I've been perfect.
Okay.
What's the penalty you pay for being perfect? I did, however,
get you some haikus.
I'm going to load my video just because I want to load it before the whole deal starts here. Haikus you got, huh? So we're going this day in history. I think LBJ will start talking before. There you go. Okay. You can pause now. All right, there. Can we stop now? Okay. Sorry, my computer just doesn't care what I do. It's only interested in what it's doing first. Okay. Let's go to this day in history. Okay, we'll do number 6. This day in November 6th is live TV. Live podcast. You gotta live with it. 1661, Charles II ruled Spain from 1665 to 1700. Was the last monarch of Spanish Habsburg dynasty was born. 1854, American band leader John Philip Sousa compared 136 military compared them. He was born. 1887, professional baseball player Walter Johnson was born in Humboldt, Kansas. 1888, Benjamin Harrison, another Harrison. We just had William Henry Harrison. I think it's his grandson. Benjamin Harrison was elected U.S. presidency by electoral majority despite losing the popular vote by 90,000 to the Democratic opponent, Grover Cleveland, and a bad president, the loser, got to be president. The electoral college sucks. 1917, the second phase of the Russian Revolution began as Bolsheviks seized power in Russia. So as we reviewed it, ended one day later. 1984, another dark day in history. Ronald Reagan won a landslide victory over a weak candidate, Walter F. Mondale, who is one of the more pathetic campaigns I've ever seen. 1995, Art Modell, owner of the NFL's Cleveland Browns, decided to move his team to the Baltimore and enraged the sports writers and Cleveland fans who still ain't over it. 2012, American politician Tammy Baldwin, Democrat from Wisconsin, became the first openly gay person to be elected to the U.S. Senate. That's cool. Our other events today, we don't have to talk about this day in history tomorrow. We'll just do this day in rock history tomorrow. 1860, Abraham Lincoln elected president of the United States.
We're definitely going to still have to do it tomorrow because I'm not going to edit what you just did back in.
The guy who ended slavery, Abraham Lincoln, was elected to his first term as the United States president in this day in 1860. Yay for Abe. Honest Abe, as they called him. James Naismith's birthday, I think. Yeah, he's born on November 6, 1861, in El Monte, Canada. So we have Canada to thank for basketball. They probably invented baseball, too. I think Canada invented baseball, too, but we don't give him credit. He died November 28th, 1839, at the age of 78. This day in history are national days: National Saxophone Day, National Men Make Dinner Day. Shh, I make dinner every day. A day for that. National Nachos Day. Guess what I'm having for dinner?
Hell yeah.
And,
get that Velveeta cheese on there, some jalapenos.
National Cash Back Day. That's the day with that little enticing little thing they credit card try to sell you. Go, yeah, you get 2% cash back on your purchases over $1 million. Woohoo! I can go buy a pack of gum. So there's your days. For all of this nonsense, me reading the wrong history, or do we have any haikus? No, we had limericks. We had limericks or metaphors, mispronunciations, or lists of haikus of lists, and everything else for November 6th, 2024 on Before Nachos. 25. Now I don't know what year it is.
I knew it. You didn't know what year it was.
Yeah, you put that in my mind, though.
Okay, yeah, blame me for your dementia.
That's my default, man. Blame other people for my mistakes.
All right, I've got 3 haikus for this day in history. In a stormy time, a voice for the boundless hope, Lincoln's light emerges. Naismith's vision clear, peach baskets high, dreams take flight, joy in every dribble. And then finally,
dreams
jazz notes fill the air, Adolf's breath sings through brass, saxophone dreams away. Yeah, saxophones, fuck the saxophones. They always get all the credit in the woodwinds. They're woodwinds, they're not a brass instrument, okay? They use wood to blow through the mouth. They're woodwinds.
Yeah. Who's calling them brass?
Idiots, because it's made out of metal.
Oh yeah? So it's a guitar, is that brass? Well, you don't blow into it.
No, it's strings, because it has strings.
Is this a woodwind or
I think yes. Technically, it's a woodwind because you use whistles.
Wood in here?
Yeah, that's the wood. Yeah.
And wind.
I wish I could hear it, but your mic does not want to let me hear it. It's also International Day for Preventing the Exploitation of Environment in War and Armed Conflict. Basically, don't plant mines in your wheat fields. That's what that means. Stop destroying the environment while you're destroying human life. Okay, go. Leave it alone. Don't kill all the animals. Yearly on November 6th, the world observes the International Day for Preventing the Exploitation of the Environment in War and Armed Conflict. This day serves as a reminder of the devastating impact that war and conflict can have on the environment. Oil in the water, poisoned wells, food going bad, rot, disease, all that stuff caused by war. So let's just stop having war, please. Thank you very much. This has been Allison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the US. Wait, did you give me a mic drop? And I don't think you did.
Yes, I did.
It's okay, I'll put it in now. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have a mic drop.
And don't forget, everybody. Don't forget, everybody. Votes are more important than money because the big billionaires spent a lot of money to defeat a guy just because of his religion. The only other reason they want to say he's a communist. No, he's just He's just afraid of his skin color and his name. All right, let me see if my video.
Oh, right, you told me about this. Yeah, you told me at the beginning of the show. That's why I forgot about it. Okay. I should have done it then.
This is my last track.
Yeah, send on my phone for a change. I got to learn is the way to do it. Now I got to start it over.
We've had sadly a long show because we did two. Not that long, but longer than it should have been because of the double history.
And I got to deal with my internet being slow again.
All right, let me put this in to our thing here.
Come on, dude.
Okay, this has been Allison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the U.S. As we finish up another Thursday's 13th, go celebrate those victories if you care about them. We'll see you tomorrow on the Friday news dump. We can tell you all the news you care about. So you don't have to worry about it over the weekend. You have a blissfully fun weekend without any of this doom gloom news. Make sure you're following on Twitch or subscribed on YouTube. Turn on that bell so you get notified when we're live or post a video. You can support us on Patreon if you want to do that. There's some special scene stuff for coffees on there. And here is our presidential mic drop moment.
Hello.
This is a real thing that happened.
Joe, is your phone
it's animated, but it's a real thing that happened.
You all made me some real lightweight slacks that he just made up on his own. Sent to me 3 or 4 months ago. It's
I like the animation.
Kind of
it's so
light brown,
it's pretty good, yeah.
Literal.
Green, rather soft green and soft brown.
Just pants in a white background.
About 6 pairs for summer wear.
And they give him his jowls as well, his long jowls.
From work. And I can send you a pair. I want them a ½ inch larger in the waist than they were before, except I want 2 or 3 inches of stuff left back in there so I can take them up.
He varies 15 pounds a month. Wow.
So,
he walks away from the phone. The flag in his pants.
Make these a ½ inch bigger in the waist. Make the pockets at least 1 inch longer. My money and my knife and everything fall out. We just
riding his horse.
Everything falls out of his pockets.
Hello. Now another thing, the crotch down where your nuts hang.
Why is he riding a horse?
A little too tight.
Or is that supposed to be a donkey because of the Democratic Party?
Let out there.
Read the top comment. Read it.
I can't see the top comment because I downloaded the video.
That I've had anywhere in the United States.
Okay.
But when I gain a little weight, they cut me. Under
Oh God! So, here we go. His ball pocket here.
You never do have much margin there. Let's see if you can't leave me about 1 inch from the.
Oh, and he burped. That's a classy move.
He's got a tank in there.
Back to my bunghole.
He said bunghole.
So I can let it out there if I need to. Now, be sure you got the best zippers.
It just pauses where it's like, what? What did you say?
If you get those to me, I would sure be grateful.
Where do you like it said, please? Whoa!
I just sure will appreciate this. I need it more than anything. And now, you give this boy the address because I'm running for a funeral, and give him address just how to address these.
I'm going to a funeral.
Don't you,
the president's saying I need this more than anything to a tailor is too funny. Utterly amazing that a United States president couldn't be bothered to find such an elusive term as seat and inseam. Instead, opted to use the colorful punk where the nuts hang to and describe it in order to order his pants.
Nope.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Those aren't the comments. Back when I was an American, proud of the president expanding his ballroom.
That's a comment, but that's the 4th comment on my list.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.